Alright, dudes. I'm just going to bring you a little film here talking about the gimbal. The gimbal. This is what it's all about. About a year ago, I picked up my Traxxas Fiesta Rally, and it has been quite a year. We've put a lot of work in figuring out how to get it to go fast. I mean, that part's not hard, motors and whatnot, but to go fast with FPV, you know. Yeah, slap a camera on, charge down across the field, but the problem you're going to have is that you can't see anything because the camera is shaking all about, right? On Cam HD here, little docking station for FPV, you know, imagine your eyeballs doing that. So, solution I came up with was 3-axis gimbal. So, let me tell you, it works real good. It works real good. You're gonna have a lot of fun with this thing if you choose to set one up. Here you go. This is what it came looking like. You know, what do they call it here? Brushless. I don't know. It's all reversed in the camera because it's on selfie mode, but I'll flip that around in post. But yeah, it's basically the cheapest or second cheapest 3-axis gimbal you can get on Banggood. And the nice part is it's Storm 32. It's meant for hobbyists, right? You can configure this thing any which way you like. Lots of options there to get her set up. So, it's not perfect out of the box. You know, like, look at this, right? 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 Doesn't look much like this, does it? No. I'll tell you why. Because all this stuff, this is meant to be on a drone, right? All this stuff right here. Right? This will get you started. But, you know, you're gonna bend it. It's gonna, this, like you can see. Here we go. See if it'll focus here. Come on, baby. Anyways, it's got marks from my vise all over it because I've had to straighten it out. So yeah, it'll get you started. You'll get down the road. You'll have some fun with it, and once you start pressing on it a bit more, it'll start bending. And what you need to do is build yourself a custom gimbal frame. So there you are. And the gimbal itself, it's about I don't know, $100 Canadian, US. I don't know. It's not that much, you know. You want to do a pan and tilt system or whatever, you're going to spend that much on servos. So, you know, we're not talking any more money here, but it's going to take you some time in drilling and bending metal and whatnot. But this is aluminum here, about I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 3 mils thick for the thicker bit, and then 1/16 for the thinner pieces. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I picked this metal up at the hardware store. Any hardware store will do. Anyone that sells aluminum, right? Oh yeah, and a bit of steel right here for the counterweight, because it's got to be balanced, right? And the only special tools I really used, drill press and a vise, big old vise back here, just to get metal bent. And you know, it's got to be, you got to have it set up right, but you know, you get away with some, you know, do the best you can, right? Get it balanced. That's number one. then I need some longer screws as well. So look at that, 2mm by 6mm, package of 100. I found it at the hobby shop, or sorry, electronics shop, and it was cheap too. So then you, yeah, go ahead, pour your blood, sweat, and tears into setting up a little gimbal here. You need to bend some 90-degree angles, and you'll get her going on. Yeah, what do we got? Yeah, so the gimbal's not that bad. The FPV equipment, of course, you can, you know, there's such a huge range budget-wise for that stuff. You can get set-of-box goggles and a simple all-in-one camera, plop it on the top, you know, that stuff, that can scale up real easy. The radio, so the one thing you do need to do with the Storm 32, right, it's going to stabilize itself real good, but you need to connect your steering input into the back of it. All right, I'll show you. So this is a you know, your video transmitter. Camera's up here. There's two. I don't want to talk about it, but there's two cameras up there, and then the Storm 32 board down here. So these pins here will take an RC input, just, you know, PMW, pulse, whatever, modulation. And you'll want to connect that to the steering, right? That way the camera will just turn a little bit, right? It'll just turn a little bit into your turn. You don't want too much, just enough. And conveniently, on the Traxxas stuff, there is 2 channel 1s, which is your steering, because some of their models have 2 steering servos, right? So this comes with the connectors you need. You just run them from your receiver to your Storm 32. All right. The gimbal's got to be really well balanced, guys. Like, it's got to, you know, you can get away with a lot, but the better you can balance it, the better it's going to perform. So, you know, I can't tell you exactly where to drill the holes for your system, but once you get playing around with it, you can get away with a lot. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just the better you can do it, the better it's going to perform, right? Now, when I got this one together, I tried to balance it. Any extra weight I needed for balance, I just added right here. And then I tried to get the rest of the system to balance itself. And it's worked pretty good. Right. So mounting this puppy, I just tape it. I use Gorilla Tape. It slots right into the chassis. Yeah. Something like that. I've got everything sort of reconfigured here. But, you know, it just slots right in there. That's not where I'd put it, by the way. I've got everything sort of set up for a different way right now, but just tape it right in. This is my other chassis plate. It might fit a little easier right now, but I just zip tied it onto the Nerf bars, you know, right on there. That worked real good. It was real easy to get on and off there. You want it to be rigid, you know. You can't have things flopping around in there. It's not going to work well. Right. So the one limitation, you can't roll this over, right? You can't roll it over. You can, but it'll start freaking out. So when it does that, there's a little reset button on the bottom, then you gotta press it. Or you can hit you can set up a standby button to hit from your remote, but if you just got like a simple transmitter, two channel or whatever, you're gonna need to reach into your car and press that button after a rollover. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. It's way nicer when you have it set up on the transmitter. But when you're mounting this, just make sure you got, access to that button without reaching through, without having to remove the body or whatever. So when I had this puppy on here, I just kind of reach up under the side and poke the button there, right? I could go on all day, guys. I could talk about this for ages. This is the quick version, believe it or not. Okay, so bodies, right? The cage is ideal. It works the best because these, air is completely see-through. It works fantastic. It protects everything really well, right? Where I started with just Lexan bodies, I would plonk the camera right up front there. And that worked well too, but you sort of crack body shells and, did a lot of reinforcing with the old shoe goo and drywall tape stuff, but it's, there's a lot of flex in these bodies. I Velcro them on the side as well to try and get a bit more strength in them, to keep it from squashing the gimbal, because this is going to be perched up high. This is higher than my shock towers, right? So if you take a major tumble, it's going to squash this thing. So you don't want that. And I've done that. I've squashed it a number of times. And you bend. What happens is you bend this puppy here. Just this bracket. It's been incredibly durable so far. It's taken everything I've thrown at it. So yeah, no problems there. Weatherproofing. I use some liquid electrical tape. That's why the board's all black. And liquid electrical tape, just to cover up the PCBs. And it's been real good since then. Well, it wasn't that bad before, but now I don't mind taking it out in the rain and, if I hit a puddle, whatever. No problems. Okay. Yeah, so it is possible to do head tracking on this. A lot of people ask about head tracking. Like 2-3 people have asked about it. You can do it, but I haven't found it's not a big deal. I don't use it most of the time because I've got this to go fast, and the head tracking can kind of wander, and if your view's slightly off, it causes problems. So I prefer the view to be just locked in and turning into the corners just a little bit, and that works for me. It's nice to have the option. This radio supports it, RC6GS. It's got a little head tracking port, and that's pretty cool. I mean, it is pretty cool. Maybe on a crawler, whatever, you're going slow, having a little exploration, for sure. But I don't use it sort of in the day-to-day driving of the vehicle. So I don't know what to tell you guys. It works real good. You can do FPV. You can go fast off-road. I'm taking this model. It's full throttle, bumpy fields. I've got a level horizon. It's just a lot of fun, guys. So it hasn't been, it took some figuring out, but I'm hoping I can share what I've figured out with you, so to save you the effort, right? And if you can bend some metal and drill some holes, you can build one of these gimbals without too much trouble, I'm sure. Yeah, there's definitely some computer setup, PID tuning, all the rest of it to, to get it running real good. So it's, it's not the most straightforward project in the world, but everything is out there to do it. And, the gimbals don't cost a lot of money, a little bit of effort and time. It's fun, you tune it, you make some changes, you see your results, it feels good, drives well. It helps itself right along in that way. So, yeah. So that's just pure overview. A lot more details to get into. Can't do it all in one video here. But, any questions, comments, etc., send me a message, comment on the video, whatever, open book here. There's no trade secrets, whatever, I'd just like to see more people get into FPV on ground vehicles. And as far as I can tell, this is, it's a pretty killer setup, guys. Full throttle, charging around the yard, front of the house, back of the house, all over the place. It's a real driving challenge. The project's a bit of a challenge in itself, of course, just technically, but then operating the vehicle, it opens up so many more opportunities, and just there's so many different things you can do with it rather than just pure line of sight. It's different. I don't always drive FPV, nothing like that. I'll definitely flip up the goggles and take a first crack at something, and then pull them down and try in first person there to do the same obstacle. But yeah, a lot of fun. Peace.